y'all. Welcome to Late Night with Bridget and Holly. I'm your host, Bridget.
And I'm your host, Holly.
And y'all, tonight we're going to talk about a serious subject. I don't know if y'all have heard it or not, but it's about the mother who, I think it's Kristel Candelario, whatever. She went on vacation for 10 days and left her 16-month-old baby, and she died. But before we get into that, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell here on YouTube, and also follow us on any of your favorite podcast station. If we're not available, get in touch with me at bridgetandholly@gmail.com, and we'll make sure to get us on there. But y'all, on this story, Kristel Candelario, I can't say her last name, but anyhow, bitch. Her name's Bitch.
Yeah, bitch
This
is what we'll name
lady
her.
left a 16-month-old girl at home by herself in a pack and play with no food, no water, no supervision whatsoever. Now, what gets me is the judge literally said that it was the most horrific death he had seen in his career. But I imagine, you got to think, she probably peed and pooped on herself, and that sat there for days.
And it
It
cried.
probably,
Oh, God.
I'm surprised nobody didn't hear her.
Right? Because you know that baby had to cry. There is no way she did not cry.
Probably, yeah. And I'm wondering, at what point in that 10-day period did she finally expire? Did she finally,
Yeah.
and she probably got weak, before she did. And could you imagine, like, even though she's little, could you imagine her laying there crying, thinking, nobody's getting me, nobody's coming for me,
Exactly.
nobody's.
Like, that
Oh,
is. It like hurts my heart so much when you tell me about this story. Like, it was making me tear up because there's so many people out there, including myself, who could not have kids and wanted to have kids. Like,
right.
why couldn't we have been blessed with a child? And here you got this woman who has a 16-month old, leaves it at home and go prances around taking pictures of her being on the damn beach. And where was it she went?
Uh, Hold on a minute.
I
What did
forgot
it
what you,
say?
was it New Zealand?
No, it started with a P.
Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico, I think. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, what is going through your brain, bitch, that said, hey, let me leave my 16 month at home? Where's baby daddy at? Where's grandma? Where's grandpa? Where's aunts? Where's uncles?
Right,
You know what? Where's DSS?
right.
Take your child to
I want to know,
DSS if
did
you don't
she
want it.
honestly think that she was going to be able to leave and come back and her still be alive?
Yeah, like, what part of your brain thought it was okay to do that
Uh
and
huh.
think that your baby was going to be alive when you come back? She didn't want that baby. She wanted to kill that baby. That's what she wants. She didn't want to
You
be a
think that
mama.
was intentional?
I think it was intentional. I really think it was. But what gets me is you're going to take a life that's barely started. It ended before it even got to start. When all you had to do was be a woman and take your ass to DSS or an orphanage or something and give your baby up.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure somebody would have adopted that baby and let it
Well,
have a
I would
long,
be
full life.
exactly. I'd be really shocked to find out. But she did say they did sentence her to life in prison, which is
That's
on
bullshit.
honestly, I think that's very lenient. If it's me, I mean, I think when you do a crime like that, you should have to die in the same fashion.
That's how I feel. They should let her ass starve just like that baby did. Probably
Hmm.
take her a lot longer, but still let her suffer
Yeah,
the way that baby suffered.
yeah, an eye for an
You,
eye is the way I see it.
yeah, it's only fair. Like when I've never liked that when with the death penalty, like you get life in prison with no chance of parole, or they say you get the electric chair, and even if you're gonna get the electric chair, that takes years and years and years.
Yeah,
Why does it take years to happen? You just murdered 20 motherfucking people, and you go into the chair, but you get to sit in prison for 20 years before they make that happen.
yeah, I
Make that
know,
make sense.
I
Make
know.
that make sense.
And it's our tax dollars who have to keep them up.
Exactly. We're paying for them meals in prison.
But when the judge sentenced her to life in prison, she said she's Spanish speaking. So in Spanish she said, "My baby and God has already forgiven me."
That's bullshit.
I'm
That's
like,
bullshit.
I doubt your baby has. You know what I'm saying? God, maybe because
Yeah.
he's better than we are,
He's a
but I doubt
forgiving
your baby
God.
has. Yeah. But the thing about it is with her, like you said, I sat and thought, did she really want to be a mom, or did she just do that to get out of mom? Because she had honestly thought for 1 minute that she was going to come back and that baby's going to be okay. Like,
Right.
and when I can't leave my dog for more than 4 or 5 hours, it starts to bother me that I've left my dog
Yeah.
more than a
How
couple
the hell you gonna
hours.
leave an infant?
Yeah.
You
So
know?
did she not, while she was sitting there on vacation, did she not sit there and think, well, what's my
Did she
baby
not
doing, or
even
how's it?
worry?
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like,
They got
and
pictures of
then
her posed out there on the beach doing this.
did she go with people or did she go by herself?
That I don't know.
I'm curious as if she went with people or she went with a man or something like that. Maybe she didn't want him to know that she had a baby. Or
Yeah.
but even still then she could have found somebody to keep the baby.
And I would
But I
imagine,
just
okay, like for instance, me to you, if I would go on vacation or you go on vacation without JoJo and I would see pictures being taken, I would ask you, well, where's Jason and JoJo?
right.
Like, was her family that was not seeing these pictures being posted? Did they not, wasn't they like, hey, Dooflachi, where's your baby? Who's
Yeah.
got your baby?
So I mean
I
I
don't know.
kinda if she's got family and they knew, I mean I would blame them too.
Yeah. But you know what I'd like to see? And somebody
What?
said it as in the comments. Somebody said, prison, do your thing. Because they tend to think that when you do a crime like that and you go to prison, that people in there, them women in there will beat you up and torment you.
Oh yeah. I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you do shit like that. Honey, you ain't got to worry about being in prison for life after a while.
Yeah.
Because them motherfuckers will take care of you.
You think somebody will get her in there?
Doing that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, unless they take and protect her because what was it? Who was the girl that drove her kids off the damn bridge? Was it Susan
Susan
Smith?
Smith. Yeah.
Susan fucking Smith. Then they had to protect her in prison and put her in isolation and shit. And she's still alive. Of course, she's still in jail, but she's still alive. So she got protected.
Now,
I
my
would have.
dad, I don't know if I told you that before or not, but my dad went to those boys' funeral.
No, you didn't tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all know them?
No, but what it was, they were the exact ages. They were 7 and 3, and that was the exact ages of my boys at the time. And it
Oh,
touched my dad, so he ended up going to Charlotte and going to the funeral because that's where the funeral was down in Charlotte area. And he had, them little things they give out at funerals where it's the little paper obituary thing.
yeah.
He had it for both of the boys. I don't know if I still got it or not, but he had kept that for a long time.
I bet that funeral was jam
He
packed.
said it was, but it's not as much as it would be nowadays.
Yeah, no, now these days you don't hardly catch people at funerals that much anymore.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying nowadays because of social media, you'd have people coming from all over the country.
Oh, yeah,
To
yeah.
where
Well,
back
that's true
then it was
too.
just on the news, so it was just local. You know what I'm saying? It was just a local story.
Local story.
Well, I
I
don't know though,
think,
because I think everybody nationwide heard about it, didn't they?
yeah, that was a nationwide story. And see, for me, it would have been take and buckle her in her car, roll those windows up, tie her
Yep.
hands down near her feet where she can't fucking move or nothing, and fly that car into the water just like she did to her kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause that's another thing. Like, who in their right mind thinks that? Oh, I'm just gonna drive my kids off from Bridget today. Do do do. I get some people go to that. What is it?
Do
Post
do
damn
do.
post. What is it? Pre postpartum depression. Is I mean, your kids are 7 and 6. How much postpartum depression you got to have? It is still lingering.
That ain't what the reason she did it. She did it because the guy that she was wanting to be with didn't want kids.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he didn't want kids. But the thing is, her husband, Michael, his name's Michael, he
Uh
wanted
huh.
those children. So she could have easily just give those kids to her husband, ex-husband or whatever.
And that's the same shit with what's the psychotic bitch that killed her two kids? The Lori I know you know who I'm talking about, the Lori girl, and she was with this guy, and God, what were her two kids' names? I've been following the story forever. I know you know it.
Lori. I
She
don't
had a
know if
little
I heard.
boy and a little girl.
I don't think I've heard about it.
God, you have, if I could think of her name, and people
Okay,
were
but let
watching
me ask
this.
you a question. What do you think? I know you're going to say they're both bad. I know you're going to say they're both bad. But so you got somebody like Susan Smith who drove her kids off and let them drown. And then you got this
Mhm.
Lori you're saying that was it her killed her kids intentional. And then
Right.
you got somebody who just walks off and leave their kid to fend for itself and it dies. What do you think's worse? Just going ahead and killing them or letting it suffer like that and die over a period of time?
Letting it suffer.
Me too.
Letting it suffer because that's days and days that little baby girl sat there, like you said, using the bathroom on herself, crying, probably screaming, being hungry and thirsty. Like, it makes you, like, wonder, like, what went first? Like, was it her heart? Was it, like, her kidneys or lungs? Or, like, what's the first part that goes with something like that, you know?
Well, I think for a baby it would be the liquid factor that's thirsting to death.
The
Because
thirst in the
they
death.
say that even for us, you could go without food for 30 days. You can only go without water for 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah.
And little babies, they need more water and liquid intake than we do because you got to think at 16 months old, yes, she was probably eating some solid food, but she was probably still drinking a lot of fluid too.
Hell, she probably wouldn't. You think about it, she probably was neglectful to her before the trip, which is
That's
probably
what
why
I
she died in
wonder.
10 days.
I
I would
wonder
be
why.
willing to bet that she wasn't taking care of that baby at all. And maybe she saw it was on its last, leg and stuff and all that.
I don't know. That I just
Not just,
I'd like
oh,
I'd like to get some more information on the whole story. The main thing they've talked about is what she did and the neglect
right.
part of it. They haven't really talked about. I would like to see, like you said, a documentary come out where they interview the people around her. Like, was
Yes.
she a good mother
Oh,
before this
that would be.
happened, and all that stuff.
That will make a good Dateline and a good 2020 and
Mm-hmm.
48 Hour Mysteries. Because I want to see what she looks like. You have to send me the article that you found. I want to see
I
what this
will.
bitch looks like. Because, y'all, Bridget was telling me about it, and I hadn't read anything or nothing about it. She knew all the info, and I was like, I'll just do it. She's like, let's do that for a podcast. I'm like, hell yeah. Because I could voice my opinion on some shit.
Yeah.
Like, God, Lori Vander something. It's still. You got your tablet near you.
Uh.
God of all times. And I know you've watched there's
uh
documentaries on Netflix and Peacock, like it's all
How
over the
long ago
place.
did that happen?
Oh God, it's probably been like a year or two, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. She's a blonde woman and I can't remember. She got into church and stuff and her family was saying like she was in a cult and all that and I can't remember those kids' names.
The only one I remember, but I don't think her name was Lori, was it was a dark headed woman. I can't remember her name, but she had 4 kids and she had been telling her husband that she was mentally ill and she drowned all 4 of them.
Oh,
And
I
she
hadn't
drowned
heard
them
about
from
that.
the oldest. I think she drowned them from the oldest to the youngest.
Oh my God. And I know people are listening or watching our podcast hollering out that girl's name
I think
and
so
her
too.
kids' names. And I cannot remember because they did, it's all over Peacock, Hulu, like this, the stories all over the place. Dateline, 2020, 48 Hour Mysteries. You need to watch that because
Why
that will
haven't I
be,
heard? Why haven't I heard about it then? Well, I don't know though, because I can't say. Well, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I just don't understand these parents, period. I mean, this girl, what she did walking off and leaving her baby like this for 10 days, yes, that's bad. But then you got people like Scott Peterson who killed Lacey
uh
and the
huh.
baby. And then you got the one I think is really bad is Chris Watts because
Oh,
his kids
hands down.
literally ask him, Daddy, why are you doing this? Like at that moment, do you not? And he did it for a woman. So that woman is that moment you not like something in your mind don't go frantic and like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I'm saying?
That's a
Like,
motherfucker that needs to like die exactly how he killed them kids, throwing them in that fucking oil rig and getting suffocated in fucking oil.
yeah,
That
that's terrible.
oh, I want so bad to find something that I can grab to look up this woman's name.
Go
Oh
grab
my
it.
god.
Where's your
I don't
iPad?
I don't hold on. Okay, you entertain. Hold on.
I'm gonna entertain y'all. We gonna entertain, but y'all do
Yes.
need to let us know. Like the thing, I guess my thing is talking about like the mentality behind a person. What kind of mentality does it take, or what flip or switch has to flip for you to go from a nurturing, caring mother or parent, for that regard, to just all of a sudden wanting your child
Exactly.
deceased, wanting them gone. Like
My
what?
iPad's on 3%.
What
I'm
screw
gonna
has
make
to
it
be
work.
loose? I'm just thinking, what
Yeah.
screw has to be loose? It's
Let's
it's
see if I
just
can
beyond
find it.
me. Like I can't. I don't know, man. I can't. I couldn't even be mean to my. It was hard for me to punish my kids. I mean, I did it, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Much less the
But you
thought of
felt
them
bad
sitting there.
about it.
Yeah, much less them sitting there starving to death, or me doing something that cruel to them to take their life. Like, what in the hell are they thinking? Your screen went black.
Oh, am I back now?
You are now. What happened?
Okay. It asked me to share the
Oh,
password on my I was in the middle of typing it and I didn't know it was
oh,
asking me to share it on my iPad. Okay, so let me find this woman.
she's trying to let y'all, probably the audience is probably screaming. They already
They
know it.
are.
They're like, "What is wrong with y'all? We already know."
Okay, her name is Lori Vallow Daybell.
Vallow Daybell. Never heard
And
of it.
she killed her two kids, 7-year-old Joshua, they called him JJ, and Tylee, who was 16 years old.
What?
Yeah, maybe you'll recognize them when I show you the pictures.
How did she kill a 16-year-old without the 16-year-old fighting back?
Can you see the
Oh my.
pictures?
Yeah, but it's no, it still doesn't. Uh-uh.
I I want us to do a podcast on this since you hadn't heard about it. Go to you need to watch them on Dateline, 2020, and 48 Hour Mysteries, and I will pull up the documentaries like on Netflix and stuff like that. But you got to watch about it. That's a sick bitch. She's in jail right now. She's in jail, but they've never found the bodies. I don't think, under my knowledge, they've never found either one of their bodies, and they have no idea what happened to them.
Oh
But
my
she's the one that
gosh.
did like they. She was like, "Oh, they're fine," and she wasn't making out like they were missing, and almost kind of a little bit like the Casey Anthony, a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, how do you don't know your kid's missing and shit like that? Like you
Well,
gotta watch it.
exactly. But you hear, like I said, on the Casey Anthony stuff, like you'll hear before, oh, they were a good mom, or they were. How does that happen? Is, I guess, what I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking.
And the
What is
kids
it
at
that
that, like,
happens?
they're so innocent.
Uh-huh.
Kids are so innocent. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you can have a kid, and sometimes you'll get, I guess you say, a bad apple,
Yeah.
but that's still your kid. You love it. But for the most part, kids are 99.99% innocent
Right.
and don't really know right from wrong at that age. So
Right.
how could you do that? How would you want to sit there? That would be like me taking and drowning Jason in the pool for not taking the trash out.
Mm.
Like
You're
how
right.
could I do that to him just because he
You're
didn't take
right.
the trash? Which he did take it out today. I
Oh
came
no.
home. Yes, I came home from picking up minding his medicine and the trash was dumped. He didn't put trash bag in it, but the
Uh,
trash was dumped.
Bless. He's doing a good job then.
He's doing a good job. That was a little bit of a mystery.
But I'm like you. I just to have a parent, and I don't know. This may sound awful to say. I don't. I don't understand any parent doing it, but especially a mother. And I'm not trying to sit there and say, oh, I understand dads taking their kids' lives. But I'm saying a mother shares this bond with her kids where she carries them in her womb, that they are
Yeah.
part of her. Like
You
I've even heard I've heard the statistics say that mothers and their children have a bond for life, that if your children are sad or they're hurt, that the mother, no matter where she is, she feels that.
But that's true though, because remember when that is true. Remember the podcast that we did, like I don't know, a couple of months ago, and you were telling the story about Cece and the date that she went on, and
Yeah.
you knew she was in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you shot her out your hoo ha. You gonna feel,
Right.
shit
But
when
that's what
she's
I'm
in
saying.
trouble. You
Like,
gotta
I'm
have
not
that
saying
sense.
exactly. I'm not saying that it's okay for men to do it. I'm not saying that it's more understandable.
Yeah,
But I'm
no.
saying for a
As a mother
mother to do
to
something
do
like
it.
that, that like blows my mind. It just it
Yeah.
shocks me, I
See, that's
guess.
what gets me too. And then, especially too, like little girls. It's always that the boys are mommy's little boys, and the
Yeah.
girls are always daddy's little girl.
Yeah.
Once in a while, yeah, it'll be a girl who's like all about mommy and not daddy, but that's hardly the
That's Brittany.
situation. It's always vice versa.
Yeah.
So to know that you got two beautiful little girls looking at you, crying, saying, "Daddy, why are you doing this?" That it doesn't break your heart, and you just dump them in an oil well.
I know. I mean,
Like
I don't. I just can't. I can't fathom what goes through people's mind. And like I said, with this lady doing her leaving her 16-month-old like that, like was there part of her like truly? I'm being genuine. Was she truly ignorant? And the fact that thinking, oh, I'll just come home and it'll be a dirty diaper, but she'll be okay.
yeah,
Did she genuinely think that she was going to be okay? And during this whole time, did she not? I mean, to me, I think I would have gotten halfway through the trip and been like, you know what? Maybe I need to have my mother check on that baby.
maybe I need to turn my ass around and go back home and take care of my baby.
I'm telling you, I
That's
just don't understand it.
I I like talk. Well, don't take this the wrong way. Like you're like me. We like talking about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Not that we like it, y'all, but you know what I mean? Like, because we voice our opinion and stuff like that. We like to really rip these people a new asshole. But when I do hear about this stuff and talk about it, I'm nauseous the entire time. Like this whole podcast, I have literally felt like I'm gonna throw up because thinking
Oh.
of her doing that and thinking of what that baby went through, and
Mm,
then thinking about the guy Chris and the two little girls and just all that like it boggles my brain. It gives me such anxiety. It makes me so nauseous because I could never ever ever be that vengeful. I could never ever be that mean to even do something like that
uh-huh.
or even want to do that. And
Yeah.
has the thought ever came across my mind? No.
No,
Your
me either.
kids will
Huh.
piss you off, and you'll want to choke the shit out of them, figuratively speaking, but you don't do it. You
Uh-uh.
ain't sitting here thinking, "Oh, they pissed me off enough." So I'm gonna put Sissy and Brandon in the car and just send y'all on y'all's way and see where the car stops at,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna tie
Well, not only
Brittany.
that, they said with the Susan Smith case, remember I told you they were 7 and 3? They said
Yeah.
that the 7-year-old, somebody had said, I think she had reported that because they asked her about it. They said the 7-year-old had turned around and was looking over the back of the seat at his mama, and while the car was going down, like he wanted to know why she was outside the car and not trying to save them. Like at that moment, what went through that child's mind? He realized at that moment
Oh my
he
god.
was he was so betrayed by his own mother.
Yeah. How did I know that happened? She told it.
She told that.
Oh. Mm.
Yep. Yep. She told that.
That's such a that's just such a fucked up thing, and she's fucked up for doing it, and I don't understand why people are put on this earth that act like that. Like I know they say that everything happens for a reason, and stuff, but I don't think God made these people this way for that to happen.
Right.
You know, I'll never believe that. I won't believe that it was those two little girls. It wasn't their time because he was an
Yeah.
idiot and he was a
Right.
sick, demented, twisted, fucking satanic, evil person. Like
I
that's
agree.
he is the devil in disguise, is what
Yep.
he is,
He
and
definitely.
so is she. Like,
Yep. I definitely think so. I think it takes a sick individual to hurt their own child. I really do. And
I
y'all
do too.
chime in and tell us what you think specifically, about this story, about
Yeah,
the
let us know
woman
if
who
you've
left
heard
her baby.
about it.
Yeah, heard about it. Talk to us about some of these previous stories that we've all heard of with the Chris Watts and Scott Peterson and Susan Smith and Lori. I have to check up on this, but I would love to see that. But
You
y'all
do
get
watch that tonight.
okay, I will. Comment to us in the section. Tell us what you think on it. But we hope you enjoyed this podcast. We hate that this happened. And this is another thing. If you ever see a situation, if you ever see somebody that even you question, hmm, is that parent acting different? Are they acting weird? Call somebody about it. Protect that child.
Yes,
Call somebody and get somebody in on looking into things because you might
because you
save a
never
life.
know.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Yep. But anyhow, we love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell here on YouTube. Listen to us on any of your favorite podcast stations. If we're not available, let us know at bridgetandholly@gmail.com. Also trying to get 3 podcasts off the ground. It's Confessions, Ask Bridget and Holly, and Settle the Argument. So if y'all want to know any of those, please email us at the same bridgetandholly@gmail.com. And until next time, y'all,
Love you guys.
bye.
Bye.